What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Also, I host the only online program in the world for dads and fathers that's sponsored by Dove Men Care. It's also co-sponsored by Dad Central, Canada's national fatherhood organization. Also want to tell you, through efforts directly or indirectly, I've been able to reach out to 75,000 fathers around the world this year so far. So we're just going to keep it going. Keep it going. The original target was 37. We're at 75,000. So we're going for the 100,000. We're speaking, we're going to hit 100,000. And finally, I am the board chair for the Global Food and Drink Initiative. It's a not-for-profit that is world-based. And what we do is we showcase Blacks in the diaspora that are doing their thing in food, wine, and travel. You're watching the Morning Vibe live this morning on August 6th at 6. And look who's back. Ryan from another world tour has come and graced us with our presence. Ryan Knight, what's going on?
Hey, I am refreshed, rejuvenated, happy to be back with you, sir, on the Morning Vibe. And for those that don't know me and didn't even realize that I was part of the show, if you only tuned in last week, my name is Ryan Knight. I'm one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. We work with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage to help them build their capacity to scale their companies. And I myself am an entrepreneur, business owner. I run a social enterprise called Detailing Nights. So we provide mobile waterless car cleaning. So we come to your house or your office, clean your car without using water and plant-based cleaning supplies. But what I'm most proud of with the company is our youth entrepreneurship program. We have 2 more spots left for the rest of the summer month. It goes a bit into fall too. So we take high school and college students, teach them entrepreneurship. Well, we hire them, but at the same time, teach them entrepreneurship so they get that flavor of what being a business owner is like. And I am a beaming father because yesterday, my own little entrepreneur, my daughter, she got to do a book reading of the book that we wrote together. Jazz and Dad Start a Lemonade Stand. So if you think that your child should get into entrepreneurship, you can start as young as 7. We wrote the book when she was 7, and now she sells the book and earns spending money for herself, and we're able to put some aside for her.
She doesn't have to get you for allowance, right?
That's right. She just reminds me, is like, Dad, remember my spending money for this month? And we're able to go get what she wants. So yeah, it's been a great experience seeing her kind of blossom. I was just holding back tears watching her read beside me.
What were you doing at 7 years old, if you want to be honest?
Did Nintendo come out then? I think I was just playing Nintendo because I know when I was 9, I got a paper route. So that was when I first started getting that responsibility. But 7, nah. Well, we had just moved to Brampton, actually. That's what we were doing when I was 7.
Wow. Well, where was the reading?
So a gentleman, Malik Asajafo, he runs Creative Interlude. So,
I know him.
Yes. So he was the one that actually helped us to publish the book. And there was another author, Susan, and I forget her last name, but Brandon's Trip to the Bank is the book that she wrote. So 2 books about financial literacy. And that was the theme they're doing like author readings. And also Sean Liebert from the Knowledge Bookstore.
Wow, I haven't been there in a minute.
Listen, come check it out. I know they're back reopened. And yeah, let's go support. And you can go get the book because it's at the Knowledge Bookstore.
Wow, so I have to get my passport.
Oh dear, did we do no, was that isn't that Montreal or Quebec?
I've been told, us Easterners, when we cross Yonge Street in Toronto, we have to have a passport, so.
You can sneak over. The border guards are on strike. You didn't see?
Okay, that's true. That's right.
It's like a real thing.
Oh, what a wonderful time for them to go on, just do a work stoppage.
Listen, strategic. How do you mean? Because the airlines have been begging to get to this point. And now they're like, oh yeah, you forgot about us? Let's talk.
Oh, well, what's been going on since we last? You've done book readings. What else has been going on in your world?
Shout out to the BBPA. They are doing their speaker series with their Bates program. So I was scheduled in for yesterday. They do it at Thursdays at noon. So
Yes, I get the emails.
Yeah, so I was talking about grants and how to, I guess, effectively write grants and search for grants as well. So I'd never received so many calls after a presentation. So I was really happy that I was able to give value and that people are now more confident going for grants. And again, we're here to help. If you do sign up for BADES, you can get money to pay for grant writing to get you more money. So that, I think, really stuck with people. So
let me ask you, I'm going to come with this sort of angle.
All right.
What about getting non-government money?
Well, and that's a big piece that I mentioned, is a lot of times we're so stuck on waiting for announcements and only applying for things that people tell us about. But after you write your first grant, you now have a blueprint of what you're able to do. And really, you have that already. You can take that and pitch it unsolicited to either corporations, foundations as well, and, well, just the general public. But I would say specifically people that have money, you can take your concept and pitch it. And that's more like the sponsorship route. But
because and I'm just going to add on to what Ryan is saying. Just don't pitch it to anybody, folks. If you're going to do sponsorship opportunities to specific, like that are non-governmental, there is a process to that. It's a little bit different than doing it for the government, right? The content is different. There is a lot of core competencies, but there are some things that you would do pitch wise to a private organization rather than a government organization.
And they're looking for a lot, I would say, different deliverables. So
Absolutely.
The government, they're just looking for, okay, what kind of impact will you have for the end user? Sponsorship, they're looking for impact on their marketing dollars. So it's like they want to see a return on their target market being introduced to that brand. So it is really two different outcomes.
Well, most brands, when it looks to sponsorship, and I'm going to say hello to Alethea O'Hara Stephenson. Good morning. Thank you for stopping by. Actually, she was here, I think, the last time you were on, and her and I have spoken since, and she's going to be on the Morning Vibe, scheduled to be on 2 weeks from today.
Sweet.
And she also got me in contact with Steve Anderson. Yes, deputy member of Shelburne. Right? Yes. So him and I have had some conversations about him appearing on one of my platforms. So thank you, Ms. O'Hara Stevenson. Thank you for being here this morning. But yes, I think, and it's funny, I just got off the phone with a young gentleman who I used to mentor 20 years ago.
Wow.
And he is living, and he came back up to Brampton because his brother was getting married, and he just said it's like there's been so much change, etc. We're having a conversation how Black Canadian culture and Black American culture are just two totally different things, and that when he left 20 years ago, he had to get time to understand their culture, and they had to take time to understand his culture.
Which area of the States does he stay?
He's in New York.
Okay, gotcha.
He's in New York, but had a great conversation, and I think that he talked about we were talking about white guilt money.
Right. Hey, they calculated it in the States. What was it, 50 billion in white guilt money after George Floyd? And did you see the Globe and Mail article talking about the Black North Initiative?
What I heard signatories about it. So you had mentioned this before. Okay, the companies who said they're part of the initiative, are they living up to their talk? Are they walking the walk?
And that was the basis of the article. And if you look at, it's a year. You can't expect boards to really turn over within a year because there's like a whole process. But even other things that the pledge says that they've signed on to, the Globe and Mail found that not a lot of those promises were kept. So now what was the pledge really supposed to do if them signing on to it has not equate it to anything actual tangible. And that they just looked at 209, like the initial 209 that signed on. So now they're over 500, I believe. But that number could be a million if there's no actual impact. It doesn't matter how many people sign the pledge.
Remember what I'm going to keep on saying this. Trauma, repetition, symbolism. I'm going to keep on saying it over and over again.
You're seeing it play out, though.
It's been playing out for hundreds of years. What do you mean?
But this is where they're promising to be different. That's what catches us, because the next one always promises to be different.
But this is the thing. And actually, I just thought about the process. Many Blacks going through trauma because they can't get economic opportunities. Repetition, another announcement.
Right.
Symbolism. But where are the receipts?
I was actually shocked that the Globe and Mail did that article.
Oh, but hold on, no. But there's an advantage for them to do that. Eyeballs.
Very true. And it was right around the year mark for the Black North Initiative.
Exactly. You see, I know one of your end goals is to start your own media empire. So there you go. That's one of the things you got to realize.
Very true. But then you see, that's where people that complain that there's like negative articles written about them, if your program delivered, they couldn't write that article. So if the Black North Initiative executed what it said it was going to do, and those signatories even made tangible progress in what they said they were going to do, the article can't be written. So you can't point to the Global Mail and be like, oh, why are you trying to bash Black North? It's, hey, we are just objectively looking at what you guys said you're going to do, and you guys have not presented like any findings. So we had to like dig and find it ourselves. And what we found isn't good yet. So there's nothing else to report on.
There's a system that's been embedded for so many years, and it's wash, rinse, repeat over and over again. Althea is saying, Ryan, you shouldn't be shocked. Both BNI and those corporations are at fault. Neither took steps.
But this is why it's troubling, because for me, I feel like West Hall and BNI, they are one of the most resourced organizations, and the expertise that West Hall has with the company that he runs, where they do proxy, and they like curate shareholders and get them all aligned to a mission.
But Ryan, I'm gonna push back on you a little bit there. West Hall needs to get the help of others. He can't do it. He can't push the initiative himself.
But that's where I thought his expertise would be.
Expertise in what?
Because look, this is what his company does. So his company makes phone calls, emails to every single shareholder, or as many as possible, to get people on board with a specific way to vote when they go to the shareholders meeting. So what he missed was should have did that with the organizations to say, okay, let's all get around this concept so that we can now have one voice going forward. And then you'd be able to work with all the community, because all the organization would be helping. But like you said, he kind of did it on his own. So that backing from the community isn't 100% there.
Well, again, if you're going to do things the same way, you're going to get the same results.
Very true.
Now, and I don't know Mr. Hall, so I'm not saying much, but I think that this is where collaboration would have been so much better. But that's a whole other conversation, because here's a question. What would it take all these organizations, including your own, to collaborate together?
Because there's different types of collaboration, and there's different things that pull people together. And I'm looking at one lens. So the approach that I've taken is saying, if there is a project that would resource organizations, that would bring people together. There could be, hey, sometimes there's like a traumatic event that happens and that brings people together. Or there's like a petition because they want to see some policy change, so that brings people together. The petitions and the traumatic events have not worked in the past. So that's where, like with what we did with the Canada Digital Adoption Program, was to say, hey, this money exists, but the best way to get it is for us to work together. And I feel like that has started the momentum to say, okay, we had about 60 organizations sign on like to the forum to say, hey, we're interested. And so far about half have completed all the required documents for us to submit. So that's now 30 organizations that have signed on and said, we are in, here's our documents, we're ready to work together. So to me, having projects that you can rally around is the best way to show, are they even interested in collaboration? Because mind you, that does two things. When there's a viable project and you do a call out and people sign up, that shows that they want to collaborate. But it also shows for the people that didn't want to sign up that they're not interested in collaboration. So I don't think we'll ever get collaboration with all the organizations.
I don't want all. I just want the right
we
ones.
need the right. That's exactly what I was like. We need to find out who is actually on team B1 and wants to collaborate, and then we work with that. I always think of like the Salt Lake City story. 120 people said, yo, we're moving over there and we're going to start a city. So in Utah, they just migrated to Salt Lake City. And from there, those 120 people built the city. And I think now it became the capital city. So we don't need everybody to go with us. But exactly like you said, we need the right people, leaders of organizations, community influencers. And if we get enough of those, and again, I feel like we have 30 to start with, those 30 can then show that the collaboration works and it can continue to grow from there.
That's a massive undertaking. I'm praying for you that you can oversee it. 30 organizations?
It is. And
do you have 30 brains?
Well, they're lending their intellectual property. So it's not just them saying, okay, yeah, we're in. It's like, no, you got to do the work. So that's where 30 out of the 60, remember. So we gave the assignment to 60 and the other half haven't sent in their stuff. So what do? Like, hey, yes, it's not, and that also separates, what's that, the wheat from the chaff. It's like a lot of us like to talk, but then when you ask us to do stuff, it doesn't get done.
Symbolism again.
And we have to get past that. The only way, and I learned this with my company, Detailing Nights, in a job interview, a person can tell you anything. And I'm the type of person that will believe them. If I ask them a question and they say, oh yeah, we're excited and I've done this and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, hey, that's great. Show up here on Saturday and we're going to get to work. If you're late, if you have a bad work ethic, if you have a bad attitude, you only see that when people are working, when they're actually doing the job. And then you can say, this person is not a fit. Or you can say, hey, this person is stellar. Because a lot of times I work with youth that have not great business resumes, but they're the most like hardworking, ambitious. They want to do good for the client. And you would have never gotten that if you didn't see them in action. If you just go by what they say and on paper, a lot of times on paper, we don't show up well, but our actions show up better. So we have to give each other a chance to see if they actually get the job done. But that to me is what really separates a lot of the talkers from the actual doers.
There you go. So see, Ryan is back, folks. Ryan is back.
Listen, last couple of days, I have not been, like you said, if there's 30 organizations that if we get this right, it becomes,
say we are going to get it right.
And listen, I'm losing sleep to make sure that it happens. Because
thank you. We're going to get it right.
We are definitely going to get it right and show to the rest that they need to get on board. And I love competition. So I'm looking at Face Coalition saying they got 5 Black organizations together to create an entity. That to me is a win. Now, how much more organizations could we get together? If we get 30, Face has to step up. So I love that friendly competition where we say how many different, and again, it could be siloed consortiums for now, but eventually there will be the singularity where we all get together around some project that will be big enough for us to somehow it'll happen, but it'll take steps to get there.
As you see, the grand plan is in action. We're going to go to break and come right back. What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, and it is Black Canada Talking time. Black Canada Talking is a live online event that provides Black Canadians the opportunity to give their takes on stories, POVs that are of importance to them, or we showcase Black Canadians are doing their thing.
The real aspect of what goes on behind the walls or behind the fence is a totally different persona and a totally different picture.
There was just a big sense of relief when we finally got there.
We have to realize that everything we do is going to have an impact on probably a lot of people we don't even know.
One of the mandates of the CBC is to reflect Canada back to itself.
Not a lot of sustainable long-term movement that will affect economic change.
God bless, peace well, keep the faith, and walk good. Back on the Morning Vibe with myself, Dr. Vibe, and Ryan Oneil Knight. And yes, Black Canada Talking on most Sundays, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, where we showcase Black Canadians. And this Sunday coming up, we have our bi-weekly panel now. Bi-weekly. It used to be once a month. At the end of the month, it's bi-weekly. Nice. And we're going to be featuring Elle Jones from the Halifax area, Sarah Yongo from Ottawa, who's fairly prominent in Black Canadian media, and also Warren Clark, who's studying his PhD in Ottawa. Actually, he's going to be moving out now to Winnipeg, Manitoba, and we may have a special guest or two. So please check it out if you can, wherever, on the Dr. Vibe Show Facebook and YouTube platforms, because I don't have clearance to broadcast on the Ryan Oneil Knight Media Empire platform.
Because it's still being built.
It's already there. It's already there.
Did you want to touch on the Wednesday 8:00 show that you run? Because that's going across Canada too.
Oh yeah, that little thing we doing. So this is, I don't know, promo Fridays. I sound like we're promoing here, but I, in collaboration myself with BIA Media out of Ottawa and the Dream Legacy Foundation, which is run by Isaac Alawafe, we're doing, for the last few weeks, we've done something called Win with Wednesdays, where we're showcasing Black Canadian entrepreneurs across the country who are winning. So we've had 2 gentlemen from North Preston in the Nova Scotia area. We last Wednesday had a lady from Calgary. We've had someone from Montreal, actually a very interesting company in Montreal called Builder. And what they do, it's run by a Black gentleman. What they do is they are the middle person if you're looking to get a renovation done. So they project manage renovations. So if Ryan, as he's building his empire, has this big Ryan Oneil Knight Center, and he needs a renovation done on it, how much does Ryan know about renovations, the ins and outs and things like that? So they act as a middle person between the customer and the contractor, because a lot of what they provide to contractors is they pre-qualify customers.
Okay. Also kind of works both ways.
Yes.
Yes. Making sure the client is on point and the contract is on point. I love that.
Yes. So they started in Montreal. They started recently in the last few months in Toronto, and they just started also in Chicago.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
And the gentleman who's running it, I believe he's under 30 years old, very sharp, great business acumen. Actually, there was a period of time for 2 or 3 years that he had opened up Uber in a number of countries on the African continent.
Oh, wow. That's intense.
Yes. So he is, so he's just one of the people that are being showcased during this series. So we're doing a little summer series. I think we're 4 weeks in. We have another 2 weeks to go, and enjoying it immensely. But yeah, if you want to watch replays again, go to the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube page or the Facebook page and look for Win with Wednesdays, and you'll see the broadcasts.
Sweet. And shout out to Eldon Holder Jr.
Yes, Eldon Holder Jr.
on there.
Is the executive producer for the series. I had conversations with him over the last 2 weeks, so we're in conjunction with Eldon Holder and Dream Legacy Foundation. We are making that happen. How did you know about that?
What do you mean? I would just watch.
What, you have time?
Absolutely. And I remember when I met Eldon, it was on his Connecting the Dots tour.
Yes.
And I feel like as we were talking, it reminded me of what he's already been doing with trying to figure out who's doing what across Canada and spotlighting it. And that's where that collaboration comes in, because you figure out, who's actually good at, I don't know, like helping people with their resumes, who's helping youth get jobs, everything that we're already doing, but just kind of in a box or in a silo. That Connecting the Dots tour really opened up to say, hey, we have a lot of talent across Canada, but we're not connected. So if that happened, now we don't duplicate services. We can lean on each other and amplify what we're all doing. Or even if we're duplicating services, but in different parts of the country, now we can be talking to each other about best practices, how to tackle different problems in a better way with a better perspective. So that concept of connecting the dots and collaboration has been happening, but I feel like because it takes a lot of effort to get that flywheel initially moving, but if we keep at it, then initially it's going to get to the point where it's free flowing.
I love how you use the term flywheel, because when I think of flywheel, I think about my spinning bike, the flywheel on my spinning bike, which I haven't done any spinning for a while. So I've got to get back at it or get to my fitness place, who now I didn't realize, someone told me the other day they're offering like online classes. So you can do stuff at home online, which is really, really good. But I do need to get out to a place and do a physical thing again.
Absolutely. You gotta bust off the rust.
No, bust off the pounds. Forget off the rust. don't, it's the pounds. The rust is not one. The rust is easy. I can like that. Yeah, that's like the WD-40. Yeah, that's no problem. But the pounds need more than WD-40 spray. You know, takes a little bit. It takes a little bit more work. Give me some successes that you've had over the summer, because we're at the beginning of August, and the summer is winding down.
Yeah, listen, no, it's not winding down. We're not even halfway through.
Look, brother. Once immense. Actually, that's another thing we got to talk about. We got to talk about Emancipation Day, but go ahead.
I want to enjoy the days. I don't feel like it's going fast. We just got into August. Summer ends sometime in September.
Days are getting shorter.
I'm not watching that. But
I don't know if you noticed that.
And again, I'm enjoying the vitamin D as long as it lasts as possible. I'm not watching fall. I don't want to hear nothing about Christmas, Halloween, or Labor Day. It is August. Let's all just enjoy
back to
August.
School, all in the stores.
See the premiere and them like mess up our summer talking about back to school. Listen, I know back to school is important, but it is still summer. Talk about pools and beachside. So what was the question about success?
No, well, I'll parking lot that to say, were you able to partake in any Emancipation Day activities?
Nothing specific. What did we do? Oh no, actually we went to the farmers market for their emancipation. Oh
yes, I saw that. So
the whole family, my wife Cher, 2 kids, Jasmine and Christian, we got to go get 1, some vegetables from the farmers market, and 2, get to talk to more entrepreneurs about what they do. I know Jasmine got her coconut water fresh from the coconut, and what else did we buy? Oh, some ginger beer from Pelao Catering. So I noticed, I think the vendors change either every couple weeks or
Okay.
each week. So there was new different vendors there. But the gentleman that sells the honey, my son Christian is just obsessed with this honey.
Is
And
it Jamaican honey?
so it's used from Jamaican honey to make different types of honey. So he has
Okay,
like
all right,
Scotch
all right.
bonnets and
Because there's a difference between Jamaican honey and Canadian honey.
and
Just
he
want
went
people to
deep
know that.
into it.
Yes. I just
But I
want to
love-
just want to make people recognize that who are watching.
Yeah, so that, and then I didn't get a chance to get to the Brampton event because you had to register and book a spot, and by time it was sold out. So
Yeah, I had the same experience with the carnival thing that was here out in Scarborough.
right.
I wanted to go to it. By the time I wanted to register, it was full, and I'm going.
Yeah.
It's 10 minutes drive from me, and I can't go because I really
Yes.
wanted to support, especially Mob Seafood. I wanted to.
Right.
I'm a huge
Yeah.
Mob Seafood fan, and like they're right in my backyard. She's based in Brampton, I think.
Yes.
And like they're right in my and when I can't go,
Yeah.
I said, man, but it looked like it was well attended.
Yeah, because I know we did the flag raising at City Hall or
Yeah.
Ken Willens, and then the celebration at the actual Emancipation Park that's in Brampton. So they named a park near 410 in Dixie. No, yeah, 407 in Dixie, Emancipation Park. So they had the Emancipation Day festivities at the park from, I believe it was like from noon till 8.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was blessed because I had a chance to have on the platform Louis March from the Freedom
That's right.
Train. That was had the virtual second year in a row. The virtual Freedom Train. He was one of the people that made that happen. So we had him, and then actually watched the a different book list, Freedom Train broadcast. And I read an article this week.
Nice.
A different book list is moving back to the other side of the street next year. They're scared. They're getting a place built for them on the other side of the street.
Yeah, they're part of that whole massive
So
reconstruction happening.
huge big ups to Ita and the crew there. The great things they're doing. Like they moved from one side to the other side, and now they're going to be moving back.
Yeah,
Which is really impressive. And then on the actual Emancipation Day itself, we had Robert Small with who has had the legacy poster going on for years and years, celebrating Black History Month. And I had a chance to speak via phone with Rosemary Sadler, who has been a lady pushing Emancipation Day in this country for years and years and years. And it was a very wonderful and emotional conversation with her on the phone. I just said, I opened up the conversation. I said, Rosemary, all I want to say is thank you. And we had a really good conversation. And Christopher Lawrence is in the house saying, Louis Marsh for mayor. He would not run. I know him enough.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't like the politics nonsense, as he would call it. But yeah, that's
no, that's excellent. And so the parked question about the successes of the summer, let me flip that back to you.
No, I can't answer that now. Can't ask you. I'm going to take it back because it ain't over yet. So I'll come.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I'll let you. I'll ask
Enjoy
it.
my
I'll ask it in November. Okay.
But I'll tell you, I actually, let me answer just real quick, because summer has, I feel, with COVID kind of getting calmed down. I know Delta's ramping up for fall, but there have been, again, the Scarborough Town Center helping out Black-owned Toronto with their launch. My wife getting her Afrocentric greeting cards into the store, getting more involved with her business, seeing my daughter getting more involved with her business because she wants to buy a guinea pig. And I said,
what?
You know, those little gerbil guinea pig things. So that she's worked me down from a dog to a cat to I tried to get it from a fish up to a hamster, and we kind of met somewhere in the middle with this guinea pig. So,
all right.
But she has to pay for all the accessories, so she's got to be selling some books. So if you want to support my daughter in getting her guinea pig and her accessories, please reach out to me and purchase her book. But yeah, I feel like a lot of momentum is getting started, but we don't want to get complacent and saying like, okay, the sun's out. Yes, people are supporting Black businesses. We need to talk about exponential growth. What does it take to IPO some of these companies? Look at Sunrise. Sunrise is probably one of the most successful franchises.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about the story behind that, and it's actually the person that really does the running of it. He is under 30 years old.
Okay, these are spotlights that we need to do in our community.
Yeah, I've been indirectly introduced to that young man, and I'm working on him to come on one of my platforms.
So, and again, things like that, how do we get that to that next level? Like, they should be on the stock exchange. We should be able to collectively invest into the expansion of Sunrise, because I know.
Well, they're expanding. Like, if I was told by a very reliable source, if it wasn't for the pandemic, they would have at least 50% more stores than they do right now.
I believe it. Yeah, because they were definitely getting a lot of momentum. But again, what do we do to support that? Because we can't just let Sunrise grow and hope that it succeeds. We should be purposefully supporting. And again, I know some Jamaican restaurants, we always talk, there's a stereotype of like bad customer service, but we need to find the horse in the village that can win the Preakness and back it. We should be really rallying around things. And there's other grocery store chains that there's one called Afrocan Caribbean Supermarket that's in Brampton, and I believe they have 2 locations. What do we do to get that to 10 locations, get that to 50 locations? Pooling our money, using these FACE loans and the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund to franchise some of our companies so that we can duplicate them across the city.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because 2 areas of where Black dollars go are controlled by the Chinese marketplace. They control hair care.
Yep.
So for those, and especially ladies who go to get their hair done, the people that may be working on your hair may look like you, but a lot of the time, the products, they may be bought at a Black store, but the distribution is the Chinese have nailed down that market long time.
And I spoke with a gentleman, his name is Tim Frey. And
why do I know that name? That name sounds familiar.
He sings with Justice McCloud.
I know that name from somewhere, but keep on going.
And so he works in helping companies franchise and like setting up franchises. So he was telling me how he wants to see the breakdown of the dollar, because like exactly like you said, you can go into a store and see a Black person serving you, but when you dig deeper into the actual supply chain, that money that they're buying the products from, let's say a Chinese wholesaler, the people that are manufacturing the products are probably like white, big biochemical company. So the further you go back, the less it impacts the Black community. So even for Black owned stores, that same thing. Where are the products coming from? Who's manufacturing them? And even what country are they coming out of? So that we have to be better at
supply chain,
the supply chain, man, and the dollar going as far back in the supply chain, because that's what really circulates the money. If we're manufacturing and distributing and selling, now we're talking about the dollar. There's nowhere for the dollar to go if we control the supply chain.
Well, the other area where Chinese have been very dominant, where I live in Scarborough, which is part of Toronto, is grocery stores. They have, and especially selling products that Black, especially Black Canadians or Black Caribbean, Blacks from the Caribbean or Blacks from Africa, they have made sure that they sell those products and taking that marketplace over.
And you wonder how we haven't done that, our own analysis on what sells, because the Chinese community does an analysis and says, hey, what sells in this community? and then they sell those things.
So that's what we needed to do.
We just need to analyze what are we already buying, and then we
Yeah.
put all of those things into a store, and we purposefully go to that store and buy those things.
So Chris is asking, how can we carve out a good piece of the hair care market? That's a tough battle.
Because they're not going to let it go. And again,
no, that's a tough battle, because a lot of that, this distribution and supply chain is ingrained. The only way we'd be able to do that is we'd have an insane amount of money to buy them out. Insane. And also too, remember, we're just talking about two industries where people need it, right? People need to eat.
Yes.
Or they die. The hair part, I ain't gonna ruffle any black ladies' feathers. You need it. You want it. You need it. You get it. So it's become a necessity,
right?
Whether of many black women. That's another conversation altogether. And of course, obviously, I can't relate. So, because one, I'm not a black woman, and two, I'm hair challenged on purpose. So I think that you got to look at it that way. That's a whole. So a lot of money would need it. Could be done, but it has to be for an insane amount of money.
Well, and that's where I feel the grocery angle is the best one to start with, because we understand that supply chain. We know food comes from farmers, and then it goes to distribution, and it gets to your grocery store. Because look at the Afro-Can food market, or the farmers market. Not just the farmers market, but there's the actual that Jacqueline runs, the actual farmers coalition. So if we were able to boost up their capacity to provide food, like actual farm the food, have our own distribution to get it to our own grocery stores, and then we purposefully went to our grocery stores, that to me is the beginning of the full vertical control of a supply chain. And then we use that as the blueprint to take to other markets. But that takes investment into the farmers.
Long term,
and patient capital.
Yes.
But this is where, look at the Black Entrepreneurship Program that the government rolled out. That's going to be $291 million. None of that is flexible for us to say, you know what, can we carve out 50 million of that and invest it into our farmers so that they can now produce enough for us to start a grocery store chain? They're not open to that conversation. So really, it gets back to what you said. Trauma happens, and repetition and symbolism. The announcement turns into more symbolism than actual impact, because what the community needs, the money is not flexible to use it for that. And I always talk about carving out another portion of it to create the credit union, the Black-owned credit union, or starting a bank. Maybe franchising a bank that's already established from somewhere else.
Oh, Robert Small had some very interesting comments about that last Sunday.
Right. Yeah. So these are things that we have to analyze. One, what's being given to us, because if it's not executing what the community actually on a macro level needs, it's just symbolism. It's just, they're just doing it for show, and we're not going to see that ripple effect that we want in the community.
So Chris was saying, I know a black business owner who I guess opened a new nail shop. We all know we own that industry. Well, I wouldn't say we don't own that industry. We contribute to the owners of that industry. That's what I would say, because we spend on it, but we have to start thinking more of wealth, right? Well, because for people who are, when someone says I make such and such and such, that's great. But what's your wealth? What's your net? What do you have? What are you taking away from that? And what's your wealth? And wealth is not just financial. Wealth is your communities that you have, etc. We have to stop thinking of wealth as only a money-owned thing. A lot of people say I don't have any wealth. No, I would disagree with that. Everyone has wealth. It's just, what is the value of it and how applicable is it?
And also look at the supply chain of the nail industry. If you ask that person that opened their shop, where are they getting their supplies from, and then who is manufacturing those supplies?
I would love that'd be a very fascinating question to find out if anyone we could get someone on in that industry on and just find out how has it been over since the pandemic and who do you deal with? What do they look like? They may not even see who they deal with because they're probably done online now, but also find out who their suppliers and go deep to who owns that company. Go along the chain.
All of us business owners in the Black community need to do that deep dive. And that's what Tim was talking about, really going across Canada and into Black communities and asking us business owners, tell me about your business and tell me about the supply chain. Like when you're spending money, where is it actually ending up?
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been done, but we've seen so many different reports happen over the last 50 years and nobody's asked that question because, and I remember Isaac Ololafe when I was initially, like when I first met him, I had met him, but then I was talking to him about starting ACBN and he said, look at oxtail. All of our Caribbean restaurants sell oxtail. Do we have one Black oxtail, like what would that be? The cow farmer, or like who are we buying the oxtail from?
Who are they getting it from? Who's the distributor of their product?
That collective purchase order could influence the price.
Yep.
But like, just look at stuff that we're already buying and let's figure out how to buy it together. And then let's figure out how to manufacture it ourselves. We should be farming those animals to slaughter ourselves and sell oxtail to our own restaurants. But I haven't seen anybody thinking further past just group buying. We need to get into manufacturing and we need to get into actual research and development of producing new products that we own the intellectual property for.
Ownership. Remember, folks,
absolutely.
Trauma, repetition, symbolism. You're going to hear that periodically from me, and that's and I think it's really significant that we have to have preparation. We need to really be prepared. If we want to make a move and we're not prepared, it's not going to a lot of times produce the best outcomes.
And that's it. But, and again, it's great to talk about it. I know we come on Mondays and Fridays at 9 a.m. with the morning vibe and talk about different ways that the Black community could be improved. But the action piece, I feel like, is what we bring to the table. Like, if you're listening to this episode or if you've been listening to the morning vibe from time, connect with us because we want to see this actually happen and we're working on it. These aren't things like when I talk about things that need to be done, that deep dive into the supply chain is happening. Like Tim is actually working on it. So let's support him in that work. When we talk about collaboration, we have 30 plus organizations that are working on projects. Join these things. Don't just listen passively and think, oh, that sounded nice, and I'm going to go back to my day. Let's get involved in the actual change and the true empowerment of the Black community.
What are you up to this weekend? Where is the Ryan Oneil Knight campaign going this weekend?
My calendar is clear this
weekend.
I don't see one thing on my calendar. So my children, we are just going to figure out some fun stuff to do.
What?
But yes, Saturday and Sunday.
Oh my.
I hope nobody tries to sneak into my calendar by sending me any calendar invites.
You're not going to let them into your calendar.
Yeah, this weekend I'm off, man. I'm just going to relax.
Wow.
Yes. I'm just going to be tuning into your shows.
Oh, you're a boring man. You need a life. Folks, screenshot this moment. Ryan has nothing on his calendar this weekend. Take a screenshot.
Oh,
wow.
Man. I'm going to enjoy that. Yes.
Wow. That's amazing.
And again, because, doing this application for the Canada Digital Adoption Program, I said, hey, it's due today, I think at 6:00.
Yeah. So, okay, well, you didn't have the tie on. So I said, if you had the tie on, I would have let you off earlier.
No, it's all good. Hey, it's getting done, but yeah, it's time to relax and
Oh, yeah, you're going to relax
Get-
doing that, by the way. Yeah.
Right?
All right. Well, folks,
Mm.
you can catch replays of our conversations on the Dr. Vibe Show platform on YouTube and Facebook, and the Afro-Canadian Business Network on Facebook. Good to have you back, Ryan. Thank you for coming back from your tour.
Hey, always glad to be back. But yeah, the next tour, hey, we got to go on it together. Cross Canada will what will we do? Like broadcast from different. Actually, we should do that around the city.
But look, if you are running a biz or something, you'd like us to do a broadcast from your place. I don't know. Yeah, we'd have to do it. Yeah, we could do it. We could do it. We could do it laptop. We could do it. Would love to do it. And also, yeah, I'd love to have that opportunity. Or if you want to do any sponsorship stuff with us, folks, we're more than happy to make that happen. And I cannot wait. I'm speaking one day. We will have a sponsor, and everyone's going to come. So we're looking for that first sponsor.
Love it.
So if you're interested, please give us a contact. We'd love to sponsor your business, product, or service, and also showcase you. So you get showcase and you get sponsorship. What a deal.
Love that.
All right. So as always, today I'm going to finish off with a reading. So we're going to go to a reading today, and it's called Think About This. So we're all wrong from time to time. We have all held stupid and utterly incorrect options. There is some shame in that, but the true shameful thing is to deny that it happened and refuse to learn from the experience, which is why we have to take some time to think about our own thinking and let the acknowledgement of our errors of our ways make us better. As always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And remember to give yourself grace. Again, watch the replays. You know where to catch them. And also, if you want to catch me, I will be live tomorrow night, 9 p.m. with Aisha K. Staggers and Jill Jones doing State of Things with Aisha and Jill. They'll be doing a weekly roundup of a number of social political things going on in the United States. And what else? And on Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m., Black Canada Talking, I have the panel with Elle Jones, Sarah Youngo, and Warren Clark. Where can you watch them? Dr. Vibe Facebook page, Dr. Vibe YouTube page. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith. And if you are enjoying the hot weather, so are we. See you Monday.